Hello guys and namaste everyone. I am Dhaval sir and our today's topic is Unit 1 poem The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Robert Frost is an American poet who writes simply but insightfully about common ordinary experiences of life. Insightfully means having or showing a clear understanding of something. This means that the poet Robert Frost had an in depth knowledge of whatever he used to write. So, the poem The Road Not Taken is Robert Frost's one of the most famous poem. In this poem, the poet, through the title The Road Not Taken, focuses on the poem on the loss of opportunity he had faced, that is, the path or the road he could not choose while he had a choice in his life. In the poem, the poet describes that while he was traveling in the woods means the forest, he reached at a fork. Fork means divergence. That means when we are going through the main road and the road diverts into two different directions, that is at fork. In the road, the poet stands there for some time and thinks about which road to choose because he is confused which way or which path to choose. So here the poet symbolizes road with the journey of life and the fork with the choice the poet had in his life, right? So main theme of the poem is about to make choice, that is, if one person makes best or the good decision about his life, then his whole life can change. That is, the entire life of the person can change if he makes one good or a perfect decision. Okay, now I will read out the poem to explain it to you. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood. Two roads means different journeys of a life. Yellow means the decomposed leaves which are shaded from the trees due to autumn season. Wood here means forest. And sorry, I could not travel both. And B1 traveler long I stood and down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. So, through this paragraph, the poet says that when he is traveling in the forest, he reaches at a fork or a divergence where he finds two different ways and he is confused which one to choose. So, therefore, he stands over there for some time and he stares at one of the road and tries to choose it, but he wants to go on both the road, but immediately he realizes that as he is a one person, he cannot choose both the road, and so he thinks deeply that which road to choose. So he stares at one of the road, and on that road he finds some small plants, greenery and everything which blocks his view, and he could not see further, but as much as he could see, he had seen some path formed on that road from which he could understand that this was the road traveled by most of the people. That is what is given in the first paragraph. Now, the second paragraph. Then took the other just as fair and having perhaps the better claim because it was grassy and wanted wear. Wear means here to be used or worn out. Though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. So through this second paragraph, the poet tries to explain us that he tried to look at the other road or the path, and when he looks at the other path, he sees that it was grassy and it looked as if a better choice for him, because it looked grassy, that means it was less traveled by the people, right? As for that means less traveled by. So then when he himself travels on the other road which was less traveled by, which he had thought, he realizes that that other road was also equally traveled by other people. That means in the first paragraph, he finds one road, he sees that road, and he thinks that this road is traveled by most or the maximum number of people. Then he tries to find the other road which seems to be less traveled, or he thinks that this road is less traveled by the people. But when he himself travels on that road, he realizes that that road was also equally traveled by other people. Now the third stanza, and both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. So actually this is the third paragraph, which is an imaginary paragraph in which the poet imagines about that very fine day when he had gone to the forest and he had got a choice. That means he thinks about that day when he had a choice in his life, right? And he thinks about that day when he got to choose both the path, but it was very difficult for him to choose one of the path because both the paths look equally same to him, as he was the first person on that very morning and no one else had traveled on that path, due to which the path on the road was not formed. So it had become really very difficult for him to find which was the right path for him. Then he says that if he'll choose one path and then the other path he'll keep it for the another time. But he knows that once if he choose the one of the path, then the life is such that it will be very difficult for him to go back to the time when he won't be able to choose the path. That means once if he chooses the path and he moves ahead in his life, it won't be possible for him to go back to the past, that is the past time. That is, I doubted if I should ever come back. Now the last paragraph, that is the fourth paragraph, I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. So through this last paragraph, the poet is trying to tell us that I shall be telling this with a sigh. Sigh means that is disappointment. Okay, so he is saying that the road or the path which I have chosen, if in that path if I faced failure, then for ages and ages I will be disappointed and I will blame myself. Then what he is saying is, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. So here the writer says that if the path which he has chosen, right, and in that path if he is successful, then on one fine day he will be sitting and he will be praising himself that it was because of his that decision or the choice he is successful today, and because of that only he has become very famous. So many a times in our life also it happens that we are having different choices. Like for example, after your 10th standard you get a chance to join science or arts or commerce, but we see the other people, that is our friends and everyone, so we usually follow the other people, and later on we try to blame ourselves for the failure, right? We don't try to make our own path and become successful or famous. So that is the problem with us, right? We don't try to take the risk in our life, and if we don't take the risk, then we won't be that much successful, because if we follow the path that is taken by all the other ordinary or common people, then our life will also be an ordinary one. But if we try to risk our life, and if we try to do something different which the other people have not tried, then it might be possible that we will become one of the most successful person on this earth, and will become one of the most famous person. So that is the end of the story or the poem, and now we'll discuss the moral of the poem. The moral of the poem says that in everybody's life, a time comes when an individual has two options. Right? Whenever in our life we get choices, we have different options. So here, through this poem, the poet says that everyone has at least two options. That is, in that choice, if we take a right decision, that means our life becomes successful, and if we take wrong decision, then that one decision can spoil our whole life. Okay, now next what we'll discuss is the rhyme scheme. So rhyme scheme usually means the words given at the end of the paragraph, that is the rhyming patterns of the words given at the end of the paragraph. So in this poem there are total 4 paragraphs consisting of 5 lines each. So we'll see the last words of the paragraph. So here we can see wood, then it is both, then stood. So wood and stood is a rhyming word. Then again could. So wood, stood and could are rhyming words. So I have given the letter A to it. Wood, stood and could. Then here it is both, and here it is undergrowth. So here I have given the letter B. So the rhyming scheme is A, B, A, A, B. That I have already written over here. A, B, A, A, B. So that's it for the poem. I end my lecture over here. Thank you so much for watching my video.